A modern traveler, Xiao, traveled to the parallel universe of Earth. Except for a book called Lailai, this place is no different from modern times. Xiao's wish here is to challenge an exciting adventure that she never had in her previous life. So, on the night of her adulthood, an inexplicable admission letter appeared on her desk, embarking on her long-awaited adventure. Chapter 1. Prophecy of the Book of Prophecy. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 5-star combination, invincible holy sword, sunshine on the earth, boundless holy radiance, the Soryai holy sword, formed by the combination of the cute knight 5 stars and Princess Naya, caused the Big Bang of the universe after defeating the Dark Emperor. Various abilities hidden in the universe also roamed freely in the starry sky due to the impact of this Big Bang. As the universe was about to face a crisis, suddenly, a force emerged from the depths of the universe that could counter the holy sword of Soryai, quelling the riot. 1 month later, Presbyterian Church, report, the soldier saluted, Elder Kenduji, this is news from the Mo Academy. The prophecy predicts that a group of large-scale meteorites will impact the quark race and Earth. You have also heard that the Mo Academy is about to face another crisis. However, after the previous war, both the Mo Knight and Princess Noah have gone missing, and Principal Fester has also gone missing. The interior of the Mo Academy is still undergoing the cleanup of the previous war. So, the top priority is to select a new principal. There was a moment of silence. Suddenly, a voice came, seemingly unfamiliar, but upon closer inspection, it became very familiar. Elder Kenduji, please let me go, Elder Usi said seriously. I once took over the Mo Academy, and I have more experience than the other elders, so please send me, Elder. Elder Kenduji looked surprised and said, so it's Elder Uz. It seems that the task has been completed. Elder Uz volunteered. Do anyone else have any objections? Everyone glanced at each other and shook their heads. Okay. Now I officially order Elder Osi to become the new principal of Mo Academy. Immediately set off to Mo Academy to help it resist the impact of meteorites. Principal Osi stood up and gave a gentlemanly salute. Osi Geta takes orders. Mengxueyuan, I heard that another meteorite has fallen. Oh my goodness, I just defeated the Dark Emperor, and now another meteorite is coming. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why are so many people dropping out of school? Director Pa's body buried in the email suddenly came together and looked up at the sky, shouting, please come to someone. Oh, dear Pa, what's going on? Teacher Tian heard the wind. Take a look at this, and all this. Director Pa pulled out a drawer full of letters. Also on the desktop and in the email. Director Pa covered his head and lay on the table. It's okay, Pa, it's not a big deal. Let's work together to find a solution, said Teacher to Tian gently. Ding, you have a new letter, please check it carefully. Director Pa opened his email and said, look, there's another one. Let me see if it's a dropout or a leave of absence. Director Pa opened the letter and saw a letter from the Presbyterian Church. This cover is quite interesting. Wait a moment, this is a letter from the Presbyterian Church, Director Pa personally said. Director Pa and Teacher de Tian exchanged a glance and quickly opened the letter. The Presbyterian Council unanimously decided and now orders Elder Usi to become the new principal of Mo Academy. Before they could be shocked, a sudden cough came from behind, cough 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 cough. The two of them turned their heads together and stood up with a surprised expression. Principal Uz. Principal Usi extended his hand and said, long time no see, Director Pa. Director Pa also grabbed Principal Uz's hand and said, long time no see, Principal Uz. Wait a moment, call all the teachers to come to the principal's office for a meeting, and also move these letters to the principal's office. Principal Uz left with this sentence. Teacher de Tian, could you please go and call the teacher? Oh. No trouble, my dear Pa, it's my honor to serve you. Principal's office. At this moment, the principal's room was very noisy. Due to the large number of students dropping out or taking leave of school after a major war, teachers are busy with post-war rectification matters. At this time, calling them over, besides the dark forces, they cannot think of those matters. Director Pa, is it the Dark Duchess coming again? Teacher Victoria asked anxiously. No, is that the Haitian department or what? Asked urgently. No, the cute knight and Princess Naya have both gone missing, and the dark power is attacking again. What should we do? Yes, we will definitely protect the students, but sealing the dark power still requires 5 stars and Princess Naya. Everyone spoke loudly, with 1 sentence from him and 1 sentence from me. Director Pa, what exactly happened? Director Pa, please speak quickly. Dear Pa, please tell them quickly, said the head nurse of the Tian, but it seems that no one has heard. Quiet. Listen carefully to me. Director Pa shook off everyone's restraint and hinted with his hand to everyone to be quiet. Director Pa, what's going on? Speak up quickly. Director Pa, please speak quickly. Director Pa frowned and impatiently cast his magic. Everyone stands up, including the newly arrived Principal of Ooze. Yes, sir. Sorry, Principal Ooze, Director Pa said apologetically. Principal Uzi waved his hand and said seriously, look at what's going on with you. Just a piece of unknown news, you've become like this. From now on, I will become the principal of Mo School, and this is the transfer letter from the Presbyterian Church. As he spoke, he reached out and distributed the transfer letter to everyone. The main reason for calling you here is 2 things. First, the enrollment issue of the Mo Academy. Everyone is a leader in the wizarding world, let's brainstorm together. Second, according to the observation of the soldiers of the Presbyterian Council, a batch of meteorites will be attacking the Quark tribe and the Earth, and we need to gather manpower for defense. Yes, everyone said in unison. So let's each express their opinions on the first matter. Didn't I also successfully solve the enrollment problem of Mengxueyuan last time? Let's continue using this method, Director Pa said confidently. A new teacher casually retorted, the previous promotion of the cute knights worked, but this time they all went missing. I think it's not advisable. Finally, he shrugged, as if the disappearance of the cute knights was not a big deal in his eyes. Dr. Victoria said in a low voice, Teacher Lu, please don't use this tone. Lu Xinmi, a new intern teacher in the field of magic potions, temporarily takes over the position of teacher from Qian Jin, who retired due to injury. Lu Xinmi clasped his hands together, pressed them against his forehead, and said to Dr. Victoria, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Alright, keep quiet. Teacher Lu, please adjust your attitude, Principal Usi said with a stern face. After all, the Flame King also disappeared during that great war. Let's put aside the previous method. Dr. Victoria pondered for a moment and said, can we transfer a few students from other cute ones to help us get through this difficult time? Director Pa clapped his hands and praised, this can be done. Teacher Tian glanced at him and said, I'm serious. Leave this to me, Principal Luz replied, do you have any suggestions? Quiet for a moment Principal Usi said, then let's end the meeting. I'll leave it to everyone for now. Don't worry, Principal, Director Pa said. Presbyterian Church, this method can only save for a while, and I'm afraid it won't solve the crisis at Mengxueyuan this time, said Elder Kenduji with an embarrassed expression. Then let's recruit a few students from other schools first. Elder, do you want Mengxueyuan to resume school? Principal Usi asked with a puzzled expression on his face. After all, now, everything is peaceful except for unknown meteorites. Elder Kenduji pondered for a moment and said, this is fine. In addition to resuming school, Mengxueyuan Garden will also start new enrollment. After Principal Usi learned about it, time and space shuttled back to the Mo Academy. Chapter 2. Enrollment of Mengxueyuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Earth, Ding Lingling. It hurts so much. How Lailai, give me 5 more minutes, I'll get up in a while. After saying that, Xiao crawled back into bed, ready to take another nap. But another book hit her. Yao Yao, don't get up again. We'll be late for setting up the stall. A childish voice came in. Xiao immediately opened her eyes, lifted the blanket, and looked at the alarm clock. She was already half an hour late. I'm going to be late, she said with a breakdown. It's okay, Yao Yao. If it's okay, we won't do business today. Let's have a drink together. As Xiao got up and dressed, she was still muttering, yes, but I will starve to death, and you will run out of energy and die. Opening the bedroom door, a warm yellow light shone in front of her eyes. Looking up, there was a birthday cake placed on the table, which read, Happy 18 years old, Xiao. Originally, today is her 18th birthday. After today, she will become an adult. Happy birthday, Yao Yao. Xiao, 18 years old, is an earthly person who has carried memories from her previous life since birth. However, due to the completely different historical trends of the two worlds, Xiao did not show any extraordinary talent, but rather showed an ordinary one. At first, she just thought she was reincarnated, and it was only when Xiao was 3 years old that she realized about time travel. This can be attributed to her parents discussing history, which exposed the differences between these two worlds. Since then, Xiao has been longing for her golden finger in her heart, and every year her birthday wish is for the golden finger. At her 10th birthday banquet, a deep and profound voice that sounded like an ancient bell rang in her mind, Happy birthday, Yao Yao. At that moment, she felt that her long-standing wish had been fulfilled. Lailai came to Xiao's side when she was 10 years old. He claims to be omniscient throughout the world and the earth, and no one in the universe can match him. However, a month ago, he suddenly appeared in Xiao's mind in the form of a book. At first, Xiao was very happy, but found that he was afraid after 2 days of not waking up. Half a month ago, Lailai had just woken up and said he had prevented a cosmic crisis. There was very little energy left and he needed it. So he came to my side to rest. After half a month of cultivation, Lailai can use his ability to control external things, but the control time is very short. As for sound, he said it can save energy. Xiao's parents passed away in a car accident 3 years ago, leaving only this house behind. Xiao has also been living alone because she occasionally mixes customs between two worlds. In order to support myself and Lailai, I am now setting up a fortune-telling stall in the night market. Yao Yao, let's not set up a stall today. Let's go shopping and celebrate your birthday, Lailai said happily as she ate the cake. Okay, let's go shopping today. The two of them simultaneously said, Go, go, go. If anyone had seen this scene, they might have thought she was schizophrenic. While shopping, dang 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 dang. Come on, Lailai transformed into a flower ball and twisted her body, cheering for Xiao. Xiao gasped for breath and said, I'm so tired. I'm almost on the 5th floor. When can we install the elevator in this apartment? Lailai, why can't you control me and fly up in one go? Come on, it's almost here. I don't have enough energy right now. I can help you from now on. Dang 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 dang. Arrived, Xiao placed her things underground, took out the key, and was just about to open the door. Wait a moment. Lailai said cautiously, don't open the door yet. I have sensed the aura of magic. It has just dissipated. Wait for me to sense it. Xiao had a wary expression on her face, and upon closer inspection, a hint of excitement flashed through her eyes. It's okay, this magic has no attack power, and the owner who cast the magic has no malice. As soon as Lailai finished speaking, Xiao immediately turned the key, opened the door, and walked into the room with an extremely fast pace, forgetting what she had left at the door. Helpless, Lailai had no choice but to exert his energy and control them to enter on their own. Lailai, why, there's no one around. Yao Yao, I didn't mention anyone either. But didn't you say there was a magical aura? Yeah, I didn't say this magic was just cast. Seeing this, Xiao's face turned sad and sad. Lailai immediately said with a gentleness he usually doesn't have, look up. What caught the eye was a plain yet eye-catching letter. The title of the letter is Xiao Show. The mailing address is Mengxueyuan. Xiao opened the letter with lightning speed. The content of the letter is a few simple sentences. Hello, MS. Xiao. Mengxueyuan sincerely invites you to study at Mengxueyuan. If you are willing to join the Mengxueyuan family, please sign your name in the box below. Lailai said in a serious voice that he usually doesn't have. Yao Yao, joining the Mo Academy is a very dangerous thing. Xiao said with a look of longing, but Lailai, this is the only way I can come into contact with magic. And during these years on Earth, I have been very bored. When Xiao came into contact with Lailai at the age of 10, she asked if she could learn magic. Lailai said he doesn't know how to teach magic, his abilities are innate. And even if one knows written knowledge, there is no magic on Earth. So, her only way to learn magic is to go to a specialized magic academy. Xiao did not tell Lailai that she had traveled through time, and even now she only knows that she has been dressed in a cute school. But she was not prepared to tell Lailai for two reasons. First, she had not completely visited the Mo Academy. Secondly, in my impression, there is no person named Xiao in Mengxueyuan Garden. Either the plot has deviated or it has ended. After careful consideration, it's better not to tell him. Mainly because I'm afraid that after telling him, I won't be able to withstand the blow and my energy will collapse again. It's too scary. Think about it, I have goosebumps all over my body. Yao Yao, Yao Yao, what are you thinking? Your divine sea is trembling. Lailai, I'm sorry, he said, but what was on his mind was how to say it. I think you can't bear the blow and look like you're collapsing. I can only wait until the right time to explain to him and apologize. I hope you can forgive me then, amen. Lailai, I have decided that I must go to Mengxueyuan. Xiao must get in touch with anime characters from her childhood, otherwise she won't be willing to do it. After saying these words, Xiao quickly returned to the house, picked up a pen, and signed. That was a clever move. At the end of the last stroke, a barrier suddenly rose above the table, playing a video. Xiao, please take care of your belongings and arrive at the nearby phone booth tomorrow morning at 9:00 a.m. We will be waiting for you at school, she said, pushing her eyes. At the end of the video is a top view of Mengxueyuan, which reads, Mengxueyuan, welcome to join, Watching Xiao wander around the house, cheering and jumping. Lailai looked at her helplessly and indulgently, reminding Xiao, Yao Yao, think about what you need to bring and tidy up quickly. You can't be late tomorrow like today. Okay, Lailai, Xiao said as she nodded her forehead with her finger. Thank you, Lailai. It's really nice to have you. Tomorrow morning at 8:55 a.m., at the phone booth. Xiao looked at the bustling road and muttered softly, sure, I'm disappearing here, won't anyone suspect me? And suddenly a phone booth popped up, won't anyone suspect me? Lailai's voice came from her mind, this phone booth has been enchanted, and ordinary people cannot see it. And you, a big living person, disappear and cannot be seen. They will not suspect you because after you signed yesterday, you were enchanted. Ordinary people cannot see you. No wonder my neighbor's aunt ignored me when I greeted her. If you don't go in again, there won't be enough time. It's 9 o'clock, Xiao picked up her suitcase and crawled inside. Lailai reminded her, and there's also your backpack. Xiao hurriedly carried her suitcase back again. Carrying a backpack on his back, he hurried back. Ha. I can be considered to have caught up. Yao Yao, actually you can put your suitcase in the phone booth and come out to pick up your backpack. Don't hear me, pretend not to hear me. Chapter 3. Enrollment. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Mengxueyuan, when Xiao came out of the phone booth, the first thing she saw was a double table. There is a banner hanging in front of the table, reading, "Welcome, Mo Academy." Hello classmate. Welcome to Mengxueyuan Garden. Please come here to register. The speaker is little Futy, who has become a messenger of Minova but still needs to be pulled to serve as a laborer. Xiao looked at the familiar person in front of her, but still wanted to remain unfamiliar. Xiao appeared nervous on the surface, but her heart was already filled with joy. She introduced herself, "Hello, classmate. My name is Xiao. Don't be nervous, the people at Mengxueyuan Garden are very kind and gentle." "Hello, classmate Xiao, my name is Xiao Fudai," comforted the messenger of Minova. The Minova envoy held something similar to a landline and used a telephone receiver to scan Xiao's entire body from top to bottom. "I need to turn around, can you scan it again?" Xiao thought to herself that she had become accustomed to taking trains and airplanes on Earth. After saying, "No need," the messenger of Minova lowered her head to look at the message and nodded. Suddenly, a deep voice came to my ear, "Hello, my name is Qing." After speaking, I handed Xiao a piece of paper and said, "Please fill out this form." Xiao looked at him in confusion. Who is he? How do I remember there was no such person in Mengxueyuan Park? Although I have only seen the Mo Academy in general, I can still remember the specific characters. But he's not in the anime. Is it the butterfly effect? The Minova envoy looked at me and stared at Qing, thinking that I was confused about why I needed to fill out this form. He took the initiative to explain to me, this form was specially prepared by Principal Luz, mainly to understand the student's magical abilities. Xiao asked anxiously, "But I haven't been exposed to magic on Earth. So I don't know what my magical ability is either." Upon hearing these words, Qing next to her glanced at Xiao. Xiao noticed and met him, smiling at him. I seem to see a flash of light in Qing's eyes. It's strange. Wait until you come to your senses. It's okay, we have a dedicated testing channel, the envoy of Minova comforted, but how do I fill out this form? The Minova messenger pondered for a moment and said, "All right, then take this form for now. I'll go find Director Pa to test it later. After the test, I'll fill out this form. Can I leave it to you two again?" "No need, just hand it over directly to Director Pa." Good. Just as Xiao was about to leave, white smoke rose from the phone booth, accompanied by a ringing bell, and someone was about to come. Xiao immediately walked over to the side of the Minova envoy. Don't ask why she didn't stand next to Qing. Please, this kind of person who suddenly appeared and had eyes shining is terrifying. The three of them stared at the phone booth together, waiting for someone to appear. What caught Xiao's eye was a girl she didn't know, dressed in a cute school uniform. Seeing the visitor, Xiao was ready to bid farewell. Health room. Xiao got lost in the Mengxueyuan Garden and had to seek help from the people she saw in the yard. "Hello, classmate. May I ask how to get to the health room?" "Go straight from here to the end, turn right and walk another 500 meters until you see the courtyard. From the right side of the courtyard, go to the first fork and turn left to reach it." When saying these words, passers-by couldn't bear to take their eyes off the book. Xiao nodded and said, "Thank you, classmate. Just leave." Who is she? Maybe I didn't take it seriously before, so I forgot about this character. However, she is really eager to learn. She is still studying magic potions, and at first glance she looks very smart. Oh no, she forgot to ask for his name. "Hello, I am a newly enrolled student. The admission letter says that I am here to collect my school uniform." Here. Sit down quickly." Xiao was pulled by teacher to Tian and sat on the bench, using a driving scroll to use the scanner. Teacher to Tian dragged her glasses, glanced at the data, and looked up at Xiao, saying, "Well, everything is healthy." "Stand up." Teacher Tian glanced at Xiao's outfit. "This outfit is not suitable for a cute school," said to Tian, a teacher who used magic to allow Xiao to experience an instant dressing up. Teacher Tian snapped her fingers and said, "Is that right?" Xiao looked at herself. This school uniform looked beautiful on TV, and even imagined what she would look like wearing it. Now it has come true. "Thank you, Teacher Tian," Xiao said gently. "Do you need me to take you to the academic affairs office?" "No need, just tell me the general direction. I won't disturb you." "It's okay, I don't have much to do here either." As soon as the words fell, a commotion came from outside. The Tian teacher, a boy, came in holding a girl in the posture of a princess. Upon seeing this, Xiao immediately stood up and made way. In no time, the health room became lively. The Tian, the teacher, was using a scanner to scan her body while asking the classmates who brought her here. "What's going on here?" The male classmate holding her said, "Tong En is on the practice field, practicing too much and fainting." "Rip, why don't you persuade her?" Another classmate said, "He even tried to persuade others. I think he's also the one who was advised." Teacher Tian glanced at him, but his hands kept moving. I immediately understood the teacher's meaning and quickly added a sentence. "I just ran into them on the way and helped them a little." He nervously covered the lower half of his face with his hat. After the inspection was completed, Teacher Tian breathed a sigh of relief and said, "It's okay, take a break and you'll wake up soon." After speaking, he turned his head to look at Rip and said, "You also lie in bed." Rip obediently lay down on the bed. The old man with a hat came to my side and covered his mouth with his hat, as if so that others wouldn't see what he was saying. "You are a newly enrolled student." "Hello, my name is Daki." He reached out his hand, and Xiao looked at him. He raised his eyebrows and moved his hand at the same time. Watching Xiao not extend her hand for a long time, just as she was about to retract it, she gently grasped it with her hand. "Hello, my name is Xiao. Daki saw me take care of him. Are you from Earth?" Xiao looked at him in confusion, as if saying, "How do you know?" Seeing Xiao like this, Daki knew he had guessed right. In an excited tone that he didn't even notice, he said, "Generally, students from other planets, Mo Academy will use magic to send them over, except for Earth. So it's like this. Are you going to the academic affairs office next?" "I happen to have something to do and I also want to go to the academic affairs office. By the way, let's go together." Just as Xiao was struggling to decide whether to greet Teacher Tian, Daki has already reached out his hand. "Ladies first, please, academic affairs office." On the way, Xiao had already learned from Daki the current time point of Mengxueyuan Garden, which was the time when Princess Tina Dangnaya and the cute knight went missing together. But the timing is not right either. After all, there was no such thing as a complete masterpiece in the anime after that. Xiao looked at the eloquent Daki and tentatively asked, "Nowadays, Mengxueyuan Academy is so dangerous. How could you come to school? Isn't taking a break from school safer?" Chingda put on a look that you didn't understand, covered most of his face with a hat, and said, "I smelled a business opportunity inside." Xiao silently gave a thumbs up in her heart. "Buddy, you cow." After inquiring about the situation she wanted to know, Xiao asked with a gossipy expression, "What was the situation just now?" "Well," said Chingda, taking out a magic amplifier from his hat, "this amplifier is not an ordinary thing. Stop, let me tell you, I only have a lost penny on me and don't have much extra money to buy this amplifier." "Oh, this is it," said Chingda with a disappointed expression on his face. "We missed the opportunity." However, he muttered to himself, "It's okay, I have a lot of useful things here. When you have money, you can come and take a look, and I can give you a discount." Xiao was impressed by his indomitable spirit and said, "Okay, I will definitely come to buy magic props from you in the future. For the sake of saving my face, I'll tell you about what happened just now. They were walking on the road, one kept talking and the other kept nodding beside them. Finally, Xiao said, "It's the newly appointed Principal Usi who will form a team to temporarily protect the Mo Academy for the Mo Night during his disappearance. They both want to join, so they are working so hard. I don't know if I can join too, it sounds very exciting." After listening to what Xiao said, Bai Qingdaqi looked at her with a frightened expression on his face. "I heard that the cute warriors formed by Principal Usi in the last World War I were very badly injured." "It's okay, it's okay. Principal Uz will definitely learn a lesson this time." "How do you feel like you know him better than me?" Bai Cheng looked at Xiao with suspicion. Xiao he briefly touched her nose and said, "Sixth sensation, sixth sensation." Bai Qingdaqi was just about to say something. Xiao immediately said, "We're at the Academic Affairs Office." During their conversation, they unconsciously walked to the Academic Affairs Office. Academic Affairs Office, Director Pa has already seen them, and as he spoke, he called for them to come in. "Hurry up and come in." "What are you doing at the Academic Affairs Office?" Xiao looked at Bai Qingdaqi and saw that he had been silent all along. She knew that he had nothing to do. Saying that there was something wrong with the Academic Affairs Office and that he was on the same path was all an excuse, just to get first-hand information. Upon seeing this, Xiao said, "I am from Earth and have never known my magical abilities. The messenger of Minova said that the Academic Affairs Office has items that can test magic." "Yes, that's right. There are props here that can test magic." After speaking, Director Pa turned his head to look at Bai Qingdaqi and said, "And you?" I was afraid that Xiao might get lost, so I came specifically to see her off." "All right, the people have also been delivered, you can leave now." Bai Qingdaqi chuckled and turned around 3 times, making it seem like Xiao had abandoned him. However, those who have watched the anime know that he once accidentally heard important news at the window of the Academic Affairs Office. Xiao instinctively glanced at the window, and sure enough, Bai Qingdaqi was there. Director Pa used magic to temporarily seal off the Academic Affairs Office. Xiao thought to herself, "Isn't it just a test of her magical abilities, using such a large battle next, tell her what happened and it will be useful." Chapter 4. Magic Ability. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Academic Affairs Office. Director Pa cast magic towards an empty spot on the table. "Return my prototype, now I am my true self." When Xiao saw a book suddenly appearing on her desk, she couldn't help but feel amazed. No matter how many times she saw them casting magic, she still felt magical. Director Pa held a book and said to Xiao, "Put your hands on it and concentrate." Xiao looked at the book, and since she put her hand on it, there have been words jumping out of the book, running to her palm, and back into the book. Xiao waited nervously for her ability, hoping to have an aggressive ability. But the result was not as she had hoped. Soon, the text appeared in the book, "Magic Divination." Upon seeing these 3 words, Xiao's eyes were filled with confusion. What does Director Pa mean? Xiao looked at Director Pa in confusion. "Well, I guess it can increase your divination efficiency." "Director Pa, do you really know?" Xiao looked at Director Pa with a skeptical gaze. Cough cough. Director Pa turned his head with a guilty heart. "Wait a moment, I'll ask other teachers for you." Then it's up to Director Pa. It's okay, Director Pa waved his hand. Magic sealing technique, release. As the words fell, a face of grievance appeared before Xiao and Director Pa. "That's right, it's Bai Qingdaqi and a teacher beside him." Director Pa's eyes lit up when he saw this person. "Luobogo, you came just in time, why are you still here?" Who is this sentence asking? Everyone at the scene knows. Do I just want to see Xiao's magical ability? I didn't hear it either, but I was seen by Teacher Luobogeo. I haven't left because Teacher Luobogeo has been educating me. I haven't heard anything either. Bai Qingda's grievance. Why, you're eavesdropping here and making sense. Xiao, go back first. Your magical ability, wait for my reply. Okay, Director Pa. Xiao glanced at Bai Qingdaki and asked if I should save him, but Director Pa instructed not to reveal my magical abilities to anyone else until he replied. If we save him, there will be no peace on the way back. In the future, if such a thing happens again, I will definitely save you, but now, for the sake of peace on the way back, I can only do you wrong. Bai Qingdaki saw Xiao give him a glance and thought he was saved. Xiao, I will definitely give you a discount on my magic props in the future. Just as Bai Qing looked at Xiao with satisfaction, she silently turned her head back and left without saying a word. Pada. Maybe it's the sound of a cracked heart before leaving. You can still hear the voices of Director Pa and Teacher Luo Bogeo, the educational masters of Cheng. Did you forget the trouble you caused last time? It's still happening now. Director Pa's angry voice came, and Teacher Luo Bogeo occasionally added a few words beside him. Mourning for Bai Qingdaki, amen. Apartment building, creaking. Xiao looked at the dormitory, empty exhausted. He said, I'm too tired. Hello. Xiao fiercely looked towards the direction of the sound source. No way, no way. I have divination skills and cannot catch ghosts. Suddenly, a person slowly sat up from the bed, and the blanket was still resting on her face. Ghost. Xiao screamed loudly and rushed to the farthest bed from her at a speed she couldn't even run 800 meters. She huddled behind the bed, trembling. What kind of ghost? I'm human. Ghosts usually say they are human. You see, I have a shadow, you see. I don't watch it, it's explosive. I've seen it on TV, and as soon as you look up, you'll rush in front of me. Classmate, I am Tong An, a student from Mengxueyuan. Upon hearing this name, Xiao was even more afraid to look up. You're lying, Tong An is still resting in the health room. I was indeed in the health room just now, but there were too many people in the room, so I came to the dormitory to rest. You are really Tong An. Xiao tentatively looked up, and over there is a shadow, and the appearance is also the same as Tong An's. Xiao slowly stood up and struggled to defend herself. I'm just afraid of things that I can't see. Usually, I'm very bold. Tong An just smiled. Xiao tidied up her clothes and walked over there, reaching out her hand and saying, my name is Xiao, and I am a new student this year. I am from Earth. Tong An grabbed it and said, my name is Tong An, a member of the Quark tribe. I used to study in Nanmeng, but now I have transferred to Mengxueyuan Academy. You may not have seen me before, because you are in a coma. When you were brought in by Rip, I happened to be in the health room looking for teacher Tian to get my school uniform. Xiao looked at Tong An in confusion before her, perhaps because she had just woken up, with a childish and adorable expression on her face. However, it may be during rest that I was disturbed and my face turned a bit pale. Seeing this, Xiao didn't ask much and took the initiative to say, I just came back and put down my backpack. I'll go out and take a look later. You can lie down and rest. Unexpectedly, after hearing these words, Tong An had to wake up regardless of his physical condition. I'll go with you, and it happens to be in Mengxueyuan Garden. I'm more familiar than you. Xiao quickly pressed her body and said, no need, I want to take more turns. For the sake of your health, you should rest well. Otherwise, we'll have to go to the health room then. Upon hearing these words, Tong An stopped struggling and lay down. Putting down her backpack, Xiao left the dormitory. As soon as she left the dormitory, Xiao couldn't help but feel that it was actually a room for 4 people. When I used to watch anime, I thought only those dormitories were 4-person rooms, but in the end, they were all 4-person rooms. It's that bed, without a mattress, isn't it uncomfortable? And that blanket is so thin. Do students use magic to keep warm in winter? Turn left, go straight, then turn left again. Xiao saw an empty courtyard and was about to enter when she saw a person suddenly emerge from the bushes. Xiao's face remained unchanged as she passed by the yard without looking askance and continued straight ahead. There are more and more people, and Xiao is also curious about what's going on. There are so many people following the flow of people. As we walked further and further, a very tempting aura emanated from the air. The crowd surged, and Xiao stood at the door of the room, with the words, "Store," prominently written on it. Goo! Xiao touched her stomach, smelled the fragrance in the air, and wiped away the drool at the corner of her mouth. Unconsciously walking step by step to the stall, Xiao, suddenly surprised, "I have no money on me, but what if it's not for money?" I thought to myself, why don't I ask? Coincidentally, passing by, a person who had just finished buying approached and called out, "Hello, classmate." Xiao looked up and noticed that the person in front of her was a bit familiar. After thinking for a moment, it turned out to be the diligent and studious classmate who asked for directions this afternoon. After knowing which classmate it was, Xiao continued to speak. "I want to ask, how much does this bread cost?" Si Ruobing raised the bread in her hand. "Well, everything in the store is free of charge. This is a benefit provided by Mengxueyuan Garden to students." Watching Si Ruobing leave after saying these words, Xiao firmly remembered her appearance, hoping to thank her well in the future. Goo! Xiao touched her belly and then grabbed onto the queue of her favorite products. After a while, Xiao, holding delicious bread, looked around the people sitting at the dining table like a ghost, and indeed found her. Looking at the empty space next to her, Xiao quickly walked there. "Hello, my name is Xiao. Isn't there anyone next to you? Can I sit here?" "Of course, hello. My name is Si Ruobing." Xiao is not a very talkative person, and Si Ruobing is also not someone who can chat. A person silently reading a book, a person eating something. Two people are silently wasting time like this until Xiao finished her meal, looked at the time, and thought for a moment. Xianyan should have already woken up and was ready to return to the dormitory. "Ruobing, I'm ready to go back to the dormitory. Do you want to go back together?" Si Ruobing looked up at time and thought for a moment before saying, "If I go back now, I'll break my plan." Xiao looked sad and stared at Si Ruobing with a pair of big eyes, blinking and blinking, "But it's not far from the time I planned. I'll go back with you." Xiao and Si Ruobing walked out of the store shoulder to shoulder. As he walked, he said, "Ruobing, do you still remember me? The person who asked you for directions this afternoon. Remember?" Perhaps it was because Si Ruobing was willing to go back with Xiao, which opened up Xiao's conversation box. "Ruobing, what book were you reading at that time?" "Intermediate Magic Medicine." "Hello, you're amazing. Can I ask you about any medical and pharmaceutical knowledge that I don't understand in the future?" "Sure, as long as you don't disturb my studies." Their voices grew farther and farther apart, but one could still hear the chattering of Xiao. The two of them were asking and answering questions, whether they were happy or not. Chapter 5. First Day of Enrollment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dormitory. Late at night, Xiao looked at the two empty beds in front of her and couldn't help but admire them in her heart. "Lailai, are you awake now?" "Yao Yao, I'm here." Listening to that voice, Xiao's grievances surged in her heart, but she still pretended to be strong. "Lailai, the people at Mengxueyuan Garden are all very kind and they are also very hardworking." Xiao glanced at the empty bed. If she wanted to join the team established by Principal Lucy again, she would have to work harder than the others. Xiao made up her mind to go to the library tomorrow to learn magic knowledge. "Yao Yao, it's okay. I believe you can join in." "Lailai, is it okay for me to talk to you in the dormitory? Will this expose you?" "It's okay, as long as there's no holy mage nearby." Next time, I'll try talking to you in public. As long as I pretend to talk to myself, others won't suspect me." "Yao Yao, you must be more careful." Xiao yawned and got into bed. "Lailai, good night, wish you a good dream." "Yao Yao, see you tomorrow." Xiao felt a refreshing breeze on her cheeks and slept peacefully. Classroom. As soon as Xiao stepped into the classroom, she saw her roommate practicing in the middle of the night. Last night, one is Xianyan, and the other, coincidentally, is Si Ruobing. Last night when they arrived at the dormitory, Xiao and Si Ruobing were shocked and surprised to tell Xianyan about the process of their meeting. Tong'an waved to Xiao and pointed to her left rear seat. Xiao, your seat is here, and in front of Tong'an is Qin, who volunteered at the beginning of the new school year. Xiao greeted her as she walked over. Good morning, Qin. A slightly cold voice sounded. Hello, classmate Xiao. Xiao turned her gaze back to Tong'an. Good morning, Tong'an. Did you have a good rest last night? Good morning, Xiao. I was too excited last night, so I didn't have a good rest. Before Xiao could ask why, Tong'an had already spouted out the reason without stopping. Xiao, you know. This time, not only are we targeting those who have attacks, but we also need to recruit logistics and medical professionals. This indicates that the scale of this one will be very large. As soon as Tong'an finished speaking, all the students in the classroom turned their eyes to Tong'an, asking Tong'an if the news is true. With all sorts of chatter, Xiao looked at the scene in front of her and knew that the news was true. Tong'an spoke out like this as soon as she thought of this. Xiao wanted to cover her mouth for the first few minutes and not let her speak. Tong'an seemed to have finally realized the problem and didn't say where she got the information from. Xiao looked at the chaos in front of her and then turned to the upper right corner of Tong'an, where Si Ruobing was sitting. She was very calm and seemed not affected by the scene in front of her. Xiao saw Tong'an's pleading gaze towards her and was about to step forward to help her out of trouble just as Yu Guang saw the classroom door open. Director Pa came in and thought to himself, Tong'an's savior has arrived. Director Pa looked at the scene in front of him and said, it's almost time for class. What are you doing? You haven't returned to your seats yet. When everyone saw it was Director Pa, they quickly returned to their seats. However, there are always several active students in a class. In the midst of silence, suddenly a voice came. Director Pa, I heard that the members of this enrollment also include logistics and medical services. Is this news true? Xiao looked at the fierce person. Oh. So it's a great tool from Bicheng. Like what he did? Director Pa puzzled and said, this news was only released today, why do you know now? Wait a moment, we will post a bulletin board to announce this news. After class, you can go and check it out. Xiao is very curious about her magical ability, but now is not a good time to inquire and can only wait until after class. Speaking of Xiao's magical ability, we need to trace it back to yesterday after she left the academic affairs office. Yesterday, Director Pa and Luo Bogao finished educating Qingdaki. Yesterday Director Pa, like Robo Gao, consulted about some things about magical divination. As a result, teacher Luo Bogao only knew that it belonged to the category of superpowers. When it comes to superpowers, one cannot help but think of Eric and Myaxing, and Director Pa is sad again. It's not easy for us to ask Principal Luz now. He is currently arranging the scale and method of team admission. Being pulled back by teacher Luo Bogao's words, go ask Facebook about it. The two of them arrived at the library and faced Facebook. This Facebook image is of a foreign woman, dressed in a slightly Western style. Password. Director Pa whispered a few words. Password verification successful, please check your question. Director Pa looked at the empty library and boldly spoke out, magic divination. Facebook flipped its fingers and clicked on the virtual panel in the air, and soon found the result. Magic divination, a superpower system that infers unknown events based on the caster's scrolling abilities. The larger the unknown event, the more scrolling abilities it consumes for the caster. There is a danger to life. What is the accuracy rate of the speculated result? As long as there are enough rolls to support this issue, the accuracy rate is 100%. Director Pa and teacher Luo Bogao were both pleasantly surprised when they heard the news. They exchanged a glance and decided to seal the message. Facebook, seal this message and don't let anyone know. Obey orders. Teacher Luo Bogao said to Director Pa, this news is very significant. I will go tell Principal Luz that you are here to watch the Facebook closed message. Using your arrangement, upon arriving at the principal's office, teacher Luo Bogao recounted the entire process to the principal in detail. Principal Lucy patted the table and smiled happily. Okay, this is very good news. This news must be kept confidential, especially not let the people of the Dark Clan know. Then call that child over now. No, wait until tomorrow, quietly call her over. Teacher Luo Bogeo and Principal Usi exchanged a glance and couldn't help but say happily, this student's magical ability came at the right time. I believe we will soon know the whereabouts of the cute knight. Both of them burst out laughing at the same time, ha 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 ha, this is really a good thing, Principal's office. Returning to the present, Xiao was called to the principal's office by Director Pa. In the principal's office, except for the new intern teacher Lu, all the other teachers on campus gathered here. There are Director Pa, Teacher De Tian, Teacher Luo Bogao, Dr. Victoria, Principal Usi, and the messenger of Minova. Everyone looked at Xiao as if they were looking at a rare treasure. Xiao couldn't help but get goosebumps from watching it. Looking at the person who hadn't spoken for a long time, Xiao took the initiative to speak up. Director Pa, what exactly is my magical ability? Why do the teachers look at me so strangely? Director Pa comforted and said, Xiao, it's okay. They were just pleasantly surprised when they heard this news. Allow them to take a break. Director Nappa, what exactly is my magical ability? And, Xiao looked at the eager eyes of the teachers and asked, what does this news have to do with me? Principal Uz slowly spoke up, this news is yours. After hearing these words, Xiao was first afraid that Lailai would be discovered. She realized that it was her own magical ability. Xiao stared at Principal Usi with confusion in her eyes. Yesterday, Director Pa and Teacher Luo Bogeo specifically asked Facebook about your magical ability. It predicts unknown things based on the caster's ability to use the scroll. The greater the ability, the greater the things that can be predicted. That is to say. The Minova envoy eagerly added, so you can predict the whereabouts of the cute knight and Princess Noah. But I don't know how to use this magic yet, and I don't know if my driving ability can support me in predicting their whereabouts. Director Pa waved his teaching whip onto his shoulder and said, this is also a problem. Dr. Victoria said gently, it's okay, as long as you practice hard, you can definitely master your magical abilities. The messenger of Minova said, little Feudy is here to help you. Xiao looked at the ghostly little butterfly in front of her. Okay, however, how can I tell my friends about my magical abilities? If someone asks me specifically, what should I say? Director Pa thought for a while and then said, you can directly state your magical abilities, but you need to lower the accuracy and deliberately state the results as incorrect. This should avoid arousing suspicion from others. Everyone looked at Director Pa with appreciative gazes. Oh, Pa, this idea is really amazing. Teacher De Tian transformed into a little fangirl of Director Pa and snuggled up on Director Pa's shoulder. Director Pa gave her a push, and Teacher De Tian returned to her original position and said, Xiao, after it's over, come to my health room and I'll give you a detailed inspection of your driving device. Okay, Teacher De Tian, potion classroom. Xiao enters the classroom, where there are 3 or 4 large round tables in the potion classroom. The height is approximately 50 or 60 centimeters. Xiao saw Tong En and Si Ruobing and walked over. Tong En, Si Ruobing, what are you doing now? Xiao looked at the bottles, jars, and even a pile of chemical instruments in front of her, which made her head a bit big. Just as I was about to approach Tong En and read a book together, I saw a person without a school uniform walking towards me. It should be a teacher, right? However, Xiao had never seen this teacher before and his attire really didn't look like the teacher, like a peacock. She could only ask Tong En quietly, Tong En, who is this teacher? And this outfit looks too eye-catching, isn't it? Is this the teacher? Tong En leaned against Xiao's and whispered, this is the intern teacher of potions, Mr. Lu Xinmi, Mr. Lu. However, he is indeed very eye-catching. And his classmates say he is the most dressed teacher among male teachers. Oh, seeing Teacher Lu approaching her, Xiao took the initiative to greet her and said, hello Teacher Lu, I am Xiao. Hello, Xiao, why are you late? Xiao's alarm bell rings long. Regarding her own magic, she cannot tell outsiders, especially those she has not seen in anime. Sorry, Teacher Lu. I contacted Director Pa yesterday, but he wasn't at the academic affairs office. I had to go find Director Pa after class today. I didn't expect to delay your class. I'm very sorry. It's okay, it's okay. After all, my teacher is dressed too brightly, ha ha ha. It's okay, you're busy with it, ha ha ha. Xiao looked at Lu Xinmi with a shocked expression. What is this teacher doing? Chapter 6. Second day of enrollment. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Attention, yes. Sir. Okay, everyone, please sit down. Today is another day and a new beginning. Today, we will also welcome a new generation, let's warmly welcome them. Hello everyone, I'm Mulan Huahua. Mulan Huahua clasped her fists and greeted Xiao and the others. Scared, everyone was startled by her way of greeting and leaned back together. Xiao saw the familiar person in front of her and took the initiative to say hello, hello, my name is Xiao, hello, my name is Tong En. Everyone was influenced by Xiao's self-introduction, also reflected on it, greeting Mulan Huahua one after another. Among them, several people who knew Mulan Huahua also came forward to communicate with her. Huahua, why did you go back to Mengxueyuan garden? Yeah, right, and after you and Rue left, Bar's dream came true. She became a star. She told me that after she became a big star, Bars notified our friends one by one, and then she cancelled her account. Definitely, female celebrities can't be the same as before. By the way, Mulan Flower, why did you come back? Me, I heard that Principal Luz is going to form a team again, so I came back to guard the Mo Academy and defeat the Dark Emperor. Extend your left leg forward, squat down, clasp your fists, and say, I came back this time only to protect the Mo Academy. Mulan Huahua stood up. Moreover, this time at home, I specifically studied our family's martial arts secrets and successfully learned them before returning. I have absolutely no problem with this enrollment, ha ha ha. Mulan Huahua smiled and took big strides to her position. Xiao, upon hearing this sound, Xiao regained her senses and looked at Tong En in front of her. Xiao, did you hear what I said? Ah, I'm sorry, Tong En. I accidentally lost my mind. I mean, didn't you say last night in the dormitory that your magical ability is magical divination? You need me and Si Ruobing to be your training subjects. Yes, I'm sorry, Tong En. Sometimes I can't remember things. Due to their louder voices and the sudden silence in the class, everyone turned to Xiao and Tong En. Everyone thought to wait and see what the success rate of Xiao's fortune-telling was due to taking it too seriously. There was no one speaking around. Xiao took out a piece of paper and a pen and said, what do you want to calculate, marriage or career? Xiao, your posture is so professional. I just want to calculate what I dropped a week ago. Tong En looked at the paper and pen in front of him, and looked at Xiao with confusion. What words should I write? Xiao explained, just think about what you lost in your heart, just write a word casually. It's mainly your desire for him. As soon as Tong En moved his hand, a word, throw, fell on the paper. Looking at this word, Xiao thought to herself, if I ask you to be casual, you can't be so casual, can you? Good. Xiao placed her hand on the words, focused her attention, and focused all her strength on her own hand, unconsciously reciting, magic divination, heaven knows and earth knows, I know. A long string of memories flooded into my mind, finally frozen in a corner. On the training ground. Xiao opened her eyes and said, at the training ground, covered by leaves, it's a bracelet. Tong En looked at Xiao with surprise. How do you know that I lost a bracelet? Is it on the training ground? I'll go find it now. Wait a moment, this direction is in a place you've never dared to look at during training, just a glance. Tong En shyly glanced at Xiao. I'll go find it here. Everyone watched as Tong En left looking at Xiao in her seat. The old god was present. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes have passed. Tong En ran back panting heavily. Entering the door, he held up his bracelet and said to Xiao, Xiao, I followed your direction and found it. But how could it be? Tong En has been practicing magic at the training ground these days, how could she not have noticed? Didn't Xiao mention it at the time? It was in a place I had never paid attention to before, so I haven't noticed it for the past few days. What if this was a collaboration between you two beforehand? Xiao retorted, no, what do you mean, Bicheng Daki? Are you trying to say that Tong En and I teamed up to deceive everyone? What benefits does this have for us? Tong En also frowned and looked at Bicheng Daki. I wore this bracelet when I entered school. It's very obvious, and when it was lost, I even reported it to the Lost and Found office. Ah, I remember. I saw Tong En's bracelet last Wednesday. It's Juliet. At first, Xiao didn't notice her, but now Xiao gratefully glanced at her as the sound sounded. Others also remembered it one after another. I remember, I saw it all in the Lost and Found case 4 days ago. At that time, none of Xiao's classmates had enrolled. Watching her and Tong En's innocence washed away, Xiao's heart was finally relieved. Fortunately, she didn't implicate Tong En. However, Xiao looked at the hesitant crowd in front of her and thought to herself, we need another person. So we have to request the second person, Si Ruobing. I can only ask her for help. Xiao turned to Si Ruobing for help, and Si Ruobing looked up and then lowered her head. Xiao made a gesture to her, and I will make it up for you later. Si Ruobing stood up and said, Xiao, help me calculate what I want to do. Okay, I'll help you calculate. Wait a moment, what do you mean by that? Xiao, who had reacted, looked at Si Ruobing with a shocked expression on her face. Everyone burst into laughter when they saw Xiao's appearance. Ha 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 ha. Tong En patted Si Ruobing's shoulder and said, I can't believe you're still joking, ha ha ha. The person involved, who didn't know what he said, looked calmly at Tong En, ready to say that he wasn't joking. Xiao was very afraid that Si Ruobing would reveal the transaction between them, so she quickly spoke up to stop it. Si Ruobing, I can calculate how to make a successful magic potion. Upon hearing these words, Si Ruobing turned her head and looked at Xiao with a radiant expression. Is it really possible? Of course you can. Okay, Xiao, could you help me calculate the magic restoration potion? Last night, when I tried, I always failed. I clearly followed the steps in the book step by step, but the results were always incorrect. Okay, then carefully recall the steps you took to make the medicine last night. Write a word on the paper. Xiao quickly pulled out a new one and replaced it with the old one. Si Ruobing pondered for a moment, then picked up a pen and wrote a drive on the paper. Xiao repeated the previous steps, placing her hand on the character, concentrating her attention, closing her eyes, and lightly lifting her lips. Magic divination, heaven knows and earth knows, I know. A long string of memories flooded into my mind, ultimately presenting a picture. It turned out that during yesterday's day when they were studying potions, several classmates accidentally spilled water on Si Ruobing's book while playing around. The classmates also apologized, but the content on that page cannot be viewed. As a last resort, I borrowed Xiao's book, which I bought as a great tool for the Baiqing period because it was cheap. Actually, this book is a pirated version. Coincidentally, the printer made a mistake in printing at this location. Xiao opened her eyes and awkwardly smiled at Si Ruobing, holding her hand. I'm sorry, Si Ruobing. I'm really, really sorry. Some people looked at her reaction and thought it was a failure, so they mocked her. Ouch, don't try to be too strong, have you failed? Xiao looked at Bicheng Daki, who was speaking, and gave him a fierce glance. Bicheng, who was about to mock him again, closed his mouth. Xiao stood up and apologized to Si Ruobing by bending down. I'm sorry, Si Ruobing. I shouldn't have been greedy for small gains, causing you to waste your time and so many raw materials. After speaking, he bowed deeply again. Sorry. Everyone looked at Xiao's movements in confusion, wondering what was going on at this moment. Si Ruobing also realized, it's because of that book. Yes, that's right. After listening to these words, everyone became even more confused. What book is it? Is it that basic potion textbook? Tong En also realized, it was the book that was dirted by someone else during class yesterday. It's it. It's it. At that time, I was greedy for small gains and bought this book from Bicheng Daki. Who knew it was printed incorrectly? After hearing this, Tong En immediately asked Si Ruobing, you should be carrying Xiao's book with you now, right? Take it. In the table hole, the person closest to the seat of Si Ruobing immediately received it and asked everyone if anyone still had a genuine one. After a moment of silence, a group of crows flew over their heads. Gaga ga, don't study hard, gaga ga. When everyone thought that this result could not be verified, suddenly, a cold male voice like the murmuring stream water flowed into everyone's ears. I'll take it. Xiao and the others cast admiring gazes at Qin Qing. Savior Qin Qing walked over to Si Ruobing with her textbook in hand. Si Ruobing quickly flipped through the pages of the two books, confidently comparing them, and indeed discovered an error. The pirated book had written 30 liters as 50 liters, so there's a mistake here. Si Ruobing picked up the book, stood up, and was ready to try again. Xiao watched as Si Ruobing rushed out of the classroom with a book and looked at her back. To be honest, I've never seen her walk so fast in the past few days of being together. Tong En chimed in and said, don't talk about you anymore. I've known her for so long, and I've never seen her before. Hey, I owe Si Ruobing too much now. Yeah, luckily you figured it out, otherwise, before her books dry in the sun, she will definitely try day and night these days. Xiao gets angry with herself when she thinks about it, but now, she still needs to deal with things on her side in front of everyone's gaze. Xiao held hands and walked towards Bai Qingdaki, who was about to escape the classroom. Xiao, you can't beat me up. After all, I didn't force you to buy that book, and there was a quality issue with that book that I didn't know about. I just sold you the book I used. So, I have to go find the person who sold my book. Bai Qingda covered his hat over the lower half of his face and sincerely apologized. No big deal, I'll refund your money and provide you with another 10 yuan. He thought he would hear Xiao's refusal, but in the end, what are you saying? Xiao, who was listening to this sentence, glanced askance at Bai Qingdaki. I said it's possible, but... Upon hearing these words, Bai Qing thought to himself, I'll just say it. She couldn't have easily let me go. With a hint of flattery, she spoke up, I'm sorry, let's do it this way. In the future, if you come to my place to buy things, I'll give you a 30% discount. How about that? Xiao looked at Bai Qing again. 50% off, 50% off. Xiao raised a bright smile and said to Bai Qingdaki, you don't have to keep going, just use it once. Okay, also, I won't pursue the injustice you just accused me of, but you have to apologize to Tong En. Tong En, I apologize for what I said earlier. I'm sorry, Tong En. It's okay, Xiao, are you still considered good now? Xiao turned her head to look at the classmate who was saying this. Calculating means that magical abilities rely on driving rolls, so I don't know where my upper limit is. I just felt it and maybe I can only calculate one today. Xiao clasped her hands together and sincerely apologized to her classmates. I'm very sorry, it's okay, it's just the last gossip today. Who are you counting? On Earth, our fortune-telling world advocates for being urgent first. Whoever has an urgent matter today is the kind that must be considered today. Mulan Huahua looked at Xiao with a confidant's gaze, my confidant. As Xiao watched as no one raised their hands, she knew everyone was doing well. Xiao carefully spoke up, after all, are we all classmates and cannot offend anyone, how about everyone give this opportunity to Qin Qing? Sure, if it weren't for him holding the book, we might not have seen the result. Yeah, if I don't see the results, I won't be able to sleep tonight. Looking at everyone having no objections, Xiao looked at Qin Qing and said, Qin Qing, do you want to do divination? No need. Everyone immediately raised their hands as they watched Qin Qing's refusal and said, Xiao, look at me. I need to do divination. Xiao looked at the hand raised in front of her with a headache. What to do? Oh, by the way, Mulan Flower, let's leave this last chance of fortune telling to a new classmate who came today. Mulan Huahua pointed at herself and asked in shock, is it me? Xiao nodded and said, that's right, young hero, it's you. Mulan Huahua walked up to Xiao and turned her back to her, apologizing to her classmates, sorry everyone. Turning around again, she clasped her fists and said to Xiao, Xiao, please. Xiao also clenched her fists and said, Mulan Hua Hua classmate, please. Chapter 7. Mouse. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Mulan Flower, what do you want to do for divination? I want to divine whether I can revive the family's glory in the future. Then please write it on this piece of paper. Okay, Mulan Hua Hua picked up a pen and wrote a flower. Xiao placed her hand on the paper, closed her eyes lightly, and focused her attention. A picture comes to mind in the picture. Mulan Hua Hua is wearing a strong outfit and standing in front of many people. She holds a drumstick and hits it hard. A rhythmic sound of thump 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 Thursday. Instead, green light appeared on those people, and their condition visibly improved. Mulan Hua Hua put down her drumstick and shouted to the soldiers, "Soldiers, come with me to charge." As soon as the words fell, Mulan Hua Hua rushed out, and one person after another rushed out. They were actually dressed like ancient people. This person who resembled Mulan Hua Hua was actually not Mulan Hua Hua, but her ancestors. Upon closer inspection, it should be influenced by Mulan Hua Hua's wishes, and in fact, this person was not like either. But she didn't have that flower on her forehead. As the screen turns, it's the Mo Academy, a member of the Dark Clan. When was this? It's not far from now. Who are the people in the Mo Academy? I can't see clearly, I can only see the appearance of the Mulan flowers. Dressed in the same attire as her ancestors, drumming the same, operating the same, and with no flowers on her forehead, it seems that she has regained the glory of her family. Xiao thought the scene had come to an end, but the subsequent scenes shocked her greatly. It was two little girls sitting on chairs in the park, the big one comforting the other. Just as she was about to see their faces clearly, a sharp pain hit her. It seemed that her roller coaster no longer allowed her to continue watching. Xiao really wanted to see the two of them clearly, but reason told her that it was not yet time to expose them. Suppressing her headache, Xiao opened her eyes and smiled at Mulan Hua Hua. Mulan Hua Hua, your future looks so handsome. Mulan Hua Hua asked with an urgent expression on her face, did I revive my family? Xiao looked at the flower on Mulan Hua's forehead and thought to herself, what is it that can seal such a great power? But why seal it? A mist shrouded her head. Yeah, you defeated many Dark Clan people. You're so handsome. The specific content cannot be said, otherwise, with the urgency of Mulan Hua Hua's wish, she could immediately go home to question. If the seal is lifted, there will be negative consequences, which is not acceptable. Then we can only conceal it. Great, I will definitely be a great person in the future. After hearing satisfactory results, Mulan Hua Hua left and Xiao also returned to the health room to rest due to physical discomfort. As for all the students, after hearing about Mulan's divination of the future for so long, they left at the beginning, potion classroom. Xiao, actually you don't have to accompany me. No, due to my own reasons, you have to work overtime tonight. I have to accompany you. Don't worry, I won't disturb you in debugging the medicine. I'll just sit here and read a book. Xiao raised the book at her hand and said to Si Ruobing, okay, then don't disturb me while you're here. After Si Ruobing finished speaking these words, she was ready to start preparing the potion. Then he turned around and said, if you catch a cold, don't look for me. Xiao nodded and picked up the book in her hand, starting to read. She had never been exposed to the basic knowledge of the magical world before enrolling, and after enrolling, she went directly to the middle school. The basic knowledge is not solid, and learning more advanced magic is useless. Xiao obediently flipped through the book, and when she encountered something she didn't understand, she wrote it down on a blank piece of paper. That white paper is the one used for divination today. After a while, Xiao, wake up. Tong En shook Xiao's shoulder, trying to wake her up. We should go now, Tong En, it's time. Okay. Xiao rubbed her eyes and found herself covered in a blanket. Tong En, did you cover this for me? Tong En looked at this familiar thing. It's not me, this blanket belongs to Si Ruobing. She should have covered it for you because she saw you asleep and was afraid you might catch a cold. Xiao touched the blanket and thought to herself that she seemed to have caused her trouble again. However, when I said I wouldn't look for her before, it turned out that she cares about people. By the way, what about Si Ruobing Ren? She went to the storage room to put down the things and then came to find us. Calculating the time, she should be back soon, right? It's Si Ruobing's cry. The two of them ran together towards the storage room, which was in a mess, while Si Ruobing stood on the bench, trembling. Si Ruobing, what's wrong? Not afraid, both Tongyan and I have come over. Tongyan raised her hand and looked around cautiously. Whenever there was a sound, she was ready to give him a heavy punch. With the comfort of Xiao and Tongyan, Si Ruobing gradually calmed down and spoke up. Just now, while I was putting things away, suddenly a bright light flashed. I was afraid it was a magical prop placed by an undercover agent of the Dark Clan. I searched carefully, and then I found a mouse with a gem in its mouth. Then, it ran away. Xiao looked at the mess in front of her and asked, but why is it so messy? I'm afraid of mice. As Tongyan knows, I'm very afraid of mice. So, when I see it, I want to stay away from it. But who knows, when I retreat to the door, it also runs in which direction. In the end, I'm forced to jump onto a chair. How could there be mice in Mengxueyuan Park? Xiao looked at Tongyan with a puzzled expression on her face. The Mengxueyuan garden is protected by the Elder's Barrier, and there cannot be any animals. Unless it's a classmate from the animal department causing trouble. Tongyan and Si Ruobing spoke in unison. This matter needs to be reported immediately to Director Pa. 3 people stood up and went to the Academic Affairs office. On the way, Xiao curiously asked, what you mean is that mouse is a magical product? It's impossible. Who would use magic to be a thief? Yes, there is. But isn't that gem just worth some money, worth using magic? The gemstones in the magical world are not just valuable, they contain enormous abilities. Academic Affairs Office, Director Pa, we have something to report. Watching Xiao and the others arrive at the Academic Affairs Office so late, Director Pa felt a sense of unease in his heart. What, did you discover the Dark Clan? No, it's not the Dark Clan. After describing the previous situation, Director Pa breathed a sigh of relief and said, tomorrow is the time for the student council meeting. At that time, I will investigate. By the way, what does that gem look like? After thinking for a while, Si Ruobing replied, it flashed by and didn't see clearly. It was just visible, it was blue, an ordinary gemstone with no pattern. Director Pa nodded and said, all right, I've taken note of it. You should also go back and rest now. After greeting Director Pa, the 3 of them returned to the dormitory together. On the way back to the dormitory, the 3 of them began discussing the thief's intention to steal the gemstones. I guess it's a desire for power. This is Tongyan's conjecture. No, I feel like it's for money. Xiao's ideas are very in line with her own, and Si Ruobing still hasn't calmed down yet. Si Ruobing, which side are you standing on? They shook Si Ruobing's sleeves and clamored, saying, Si Ruobing, which side do you support? Si Ruobing was a bit annoyed by their argument and said, let Xiao do some divination tomorrow, won't you? Yeah, as soon as I do my divination tomorrow, the result will come out. After seeing it, Tongyan could only nod and say, okay, let's wait until tomorrow. Chapter 8. Student Union Meetings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Girl dormitories. In the middle of the night, Xiao looked at the sleeping crowd and whispered to Lailai, Lailai, have you seen my magical abilities today? Super cool. I saw it, it's great. And it's your first time using magic, and you're already amazing at achieving this level. Keep it up for a week, then strengthen your training and improve your abilities. There was a hint of praise from elders in Xianyan's voice, which was very strange. However, Xiao seemed to have become accustomed to the way Lailai spoke. After all, in her heart, Lailai was her only relative in this world. Don't worry, I will work hard. Xiao wanted to talk to Lailai when suddenly, Xianyan flipped over and scared Xiao, causing her to immediately stop talking. Lailai, see you tomorrow. Yao Yao, see you tomorrow. Xiao's last thought before going to bed was that she must draw a dormitory tomorrow when there was no one around, so she said to Lailai the square. On the square, Xiao looked at the back of her classmates in front of her. She hoped that Director Pa wouldn't be nagging and talking endlessly during the meeting like a former principal. Director Pa stood on the podium and cleared his mouth, saying, "Classmates, first of all, I am very grateful that you are willing to stand in danger with Mengxueyuan. Secondly, regarding the formation of a team that can temporarily replace Meng Chivalry by Principal Usi, the first round of interviews has been decided. Someone will post a poster later." Director Pa cleared his mouth again and said, "The last thing is that there were mice stealing gemstones in our school." The students below became restless. How could it be possible? Mengxueyuan is protected by a barrier. In theory, there won't be any mice. It should be a classmate from the animal department who did it. Who is the animal kingdom, summoning mice? I don't know. Some students have started to inquire about other people's magical abilities. Classmate, what are your abilities? No, why are you asking this? We guess it was done by a student from the animal department last night, so let me ask. Why, in your eyes, I look like a thief? Ah. This male classmate, at first glance, knows that he usually lifts a lot of iron. He pushes the questioner back all the way with a single word. Ah, what are you doing? What are you bullying my friend for? There were two waves of people who came upon hearing the news. One was a friend of the questioner, and the other was a group of people who were not afraid of big things. Xiao really wanted to join the crowd of melon eaters, but the two people next to her didn't seem like melon lovers, reserved, afraid of the director watching the students in front of him fight, gathered together to talk, and remembered how peaceful President Eric was when he was there. Quiet. Quiet. But, the result is predictable. To make a group of excited students stop, one may have to rely on magical abilities. Director Pa was about to cast his magic when he saw Principal Luz and the Minova messenger following him. Principal Usi frowned and looked at the chaotic situation below. He spoke in a deep voice, "If we continue to make trouble, I will cancel the applicant's registration qualification. Do you hear me?" "I heard you." As expected, everyone was responding loudly, and then there was silence. Xiao thought to herself, "So you can hear me?" Director Pa can only look at the students in front of him with itchy teeth who turn a deaf ear to his words. "Director Pa, please continue." "Okay, the last thing hasn't been said yet. After disbandment, go back to the dormitory to check your belongings and see if there are any lost items. If there are, register with the Minova messenger. As for the thief, you are limited to returning the stolen items today, and the school can continue to hold you accountable. However, if there is another occurrence, you will face the risk of dropping out of school. Principal Luz, why don't you also come up and say a few words?" Principal Usi nodded and stood on the podium. "Dear students, this enrollment will be open to all students in the school. As long as you pass the level of magic ability, you may enter the team. I would like to emphasize that the logistics and medical teams will adopt the same standards for enrollment as the combat team. Please do not slack off." After speaking, Principal Usi and Director Pa left together, leaving behind the questions that the Minova envoy had about the classmates. Little Futy, what does Principal Usi mean? Principal Usi's meaning is that the logistics and healing teams also need to test their magical abilities during the interview, and rank together with the combat team, and then recruit students according to their rankings. How do Principal Luz test our non-attacking magic? By then, you will understand. After saying these words, Little Futy left, leaving behind a group of confused classmates. Tongan also brought Xiao and Si Ruobing to the training room as soon as everyone had not regained their senses. Training room, Tongan, how do I train with Si Ruobing? I am a magic divination spell, and she is a magic repair spell. Tongan also realized this problem and pondered with a regretful expression on his face. Si Ruobing spoke up and said, I understand. Both of us need specific objects for this magic. Since, when everyone reacts, a large number of students will come over. And since there are only these two in the training room, there will definitely not be enough students to use them. There will definitely be someone waiting next to them. You can go and divine for them when you arrive, and I will heal them. After hearing this, Xiao and Tong En both thought it was a good solution. Tong En, hurry up with your training. I'll go to the training room door and wait for you, Si Ruobing. You'll be inside, waiting to heal your classmates. Good, Xiao, let me go outside with you. When there are too many people waiting, I will come back. Okay, it's perfect for us to talk together. The two walked together to the door, waiting for the arrival of other classmates. Sirubing, do you know Rip? Si Ruobing was puzzled and said, how do you know him? According to Tong En, Rip went out to carry out tasks on the first day of your class. Oh, let me tell you. Xiaoyan narrowed the distance with Si Ruobing with a smile on her face, carefully but with added embellishment, describing the scene she saw when she enrolled in school. Si Ruobing, with my eyes that I have read countless romance novels, I tell you that they definitely have some tricks. After speaking, Xiao glanced at Si Ruobing with a smile that you didn't know. Let me tell you, my suspicion will never go wrong. Si Ruobing glanced at Xiao and closed the book, saying, guess whose summon the mouse from last night was? Xiao He turned her head and remained silent. Seeing this, Si Ruobing reopened the book and started reading it again. Not long after, I saw Xiao turn around and come over. Si Ruobing, I can only calculate that the perpetrator is a boy, and the rest cannot be counted. Turns out, when Xiao turned around, she was pinching her fingers and calculating. Why don't you use magical abilities? After Si Ruobing finished speaking, she turned her head and saw her hands holding paper and pen. Just wait for this sentence. I carry the pen and paper with me, but I have to ask you, maybe you need to recall last night's scene again. As soon as Xiao finished speaking, Si Ruobing's face turned pale. As soon as she saw her face turn so scared, Xiao put away her pen and angrily said, damn it, I woke up this morning and did a divination for myself, which showed that I was not suitable for divination today. Moreover, I don't know if I can use you to calculate the perpetrator. Si Ruobing, I'll try Tong En tomorrow. After speaking, I saw Si Ruobing and started reading again. Xiao saw that Si Ruobing's face had returned to normal and she slowly relaxed her mood. It seems that Si Ruobing is very, very, very afraid of mice. After 10 minutes, many people arrived and the training room was chaotic. What are you from the healing department doing in the training room? I haven't mentioned you yet. Can your magical ability be used without the object? Hey, you, I'm coming here to practice. What's wrong? You. I can't speak anymore, right? These are the two classmates who had a heated argument during the student council meeting. Maybe this time it's not just a quarrel, it might escalate. When they both came in at the same time, they kept an eye on Xiao here. Seeing that the situation was not good, they turned to Tong En and Si Ruobing and said, I'll go find Director Pa and ask him to send someone to maintain discipline. Xiao, let me go. Tong En, we need you two here. Tong En is the main force in the battle, while Si Ruobing is the healer. Xiao ran all the way. Although she had been in school for 4 days, she still couldn't remember the way. Thanks to Lailai, Xiao, wrong, turn right and go straight, then turn right. Good, Academic Affairs Office, report, Director Pa. There's going to be a fight in the training room. Upon hearing these words, Director Pa immediately stood up with a clap of his head. What, Xiao, please speak slowly. Let's talk about the cause and effect from the beginning. Dr. Victoria also stood up and said. Xiao recounted in detail from beginning to end. Director Pa pondered and said, all right, let's go together, Teacher Victoria and Teacher Lu, to maintain discipline. Good. Upon hearing the sound, Xiao reflexively looked at Teacher Lu, who was a stranger to her, almost blinded today. Teacher Lu is still dressed like a peacock, with 10 fingers on his hands, each carrying a different colored diamond. However, Teacher Lu's outfit surprisingly matched well. Watching Teacher Lu and Dr. Victoria leave one after another, Xiao is also preparing to leave. Suddenly, Director Pa spoke up and said, Xiao, please wait a moment. Principal Usi has something to talk to you about. Xiao paused and walked into the principal's office with Director Pa. Chapter 9. Competition Time. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Principal's office. Xiao greeted Principal Usi and said, Principal Usi. Xiao, I asked Director Pa to keep you here to ask you to divine which time period is the best time to arrange an interview. Upon hearing these words, Xiao's face immediately turned pale. After all, she had only used magic divination to calculate the lost items and future fate, and if we were to divine the future and past of Principal Usi, divining a holy and magical mentor, Xiao would admit that she didn't have the ability and had no choice but to tell the truth and work together to find a solution. Principal Uz, I only divined 3 people yesterday, and they are all classmates. I don't think I have the ability to divine your past and future. After speaking, Xiao also turned to Director Pa and said, Director Pa, I don't think it's possible either. Xiao thought for a moment and continued, even the teachers at Mengxueyuan Garden are not good. Well, I don't think I'm good either, Minova Messenger. As she spoke, Xiao herself felt a bit uncomfortable after listening to these words. Principal Uz and Director Pa spoke up early, so if you don't have to do divination about the past and future, just do it. Is this decision good or bad? As soon as Xiao heard this, it was a sign of good or bad luck. She should be able to give it a try first. Could Principal Uz please write a time on this piece of paper? I suggest that it's best to do 2 divinations to get the result. Principal Usi pondered for a moment, then picked up his pen and wrote on paper, 1 month later. Looking at this time period, Xiao didn't expect Principal Usi to be so urgent. Xiao encouraged herself in her heart, placed her hand on a piece of paper, took a deep breath, closed her eyes, focused her attention, and read. Magic divination, distinguishing good and bad between red and black. A large amount of energy rushed towards Xiao, and the spiritual sea felt like it was about to collapse. Upon seeing this, Lailai wanted to speak, but both of them were holy demon masters on site. Once they spoke, they had to be exposed. Stay calm, Xiao. You must stay calm, Xiao. Slowly, Xiao's condition stabilized. It turned out that because Xiao had been thinking in her heart, I only wanted good or bad luck, and I didn't want to look at his future or past. This state of collapse lasted for almost 5 minutes, and finally, Xiao completely stabilized. Then, slowly, a black color suddenly appeared in her mind. She knew she had succeeded. Xiao opened her eyes and saw a face of Teacher de Tian. Xiao, you've finally woken up. How are you? Do you feel any discomfort in your body? Speaking, Teacher de Tian, holding a driving scroll and using a scanner to scan Xiao's entire body. Well, it's about driving the scroll to consume quickly. I can't use magic anymore today, and I need to hurry back to my dormitory to rest. Okay, Teacher Tian, when did you arrive? Oh me, when Director Pa and Principal Uz noticed that you were in danger, they called me over. De Tian, the teacher, was packing up while saying to Xiao. Director Pa next to her asked Xiao, how are you doing? Are there any results? Xiao nodded and said, it's black. Principal Usi, as soon as you hear this sentence, you know when you need to schedule the interview. Xiao, thank you for your help. Alright, you can take a break at the Academic Affairs office first. I will help you take a leave of absence for today's class. Okay, Principal Usi said to Teacher Xianyan again. Teacher Xianyan, could you please help Xiao to the Academic Affairs office? Afterwards, I need to hold a meeting. Good. Principal Usi saw that Xiao was supported by Teacher de Tian and left the principal's office, so he asked Director Pa to notify all the teachers in the school to prepare for a meeting in 5 minutes. I have decided to schedule the interview for Wednesday, 2 weeks later. After finishing speaking, a teacher raised doubts. Principal Usi, would it be bad for the new students if you schedule the interview for Wednesday in 2 weeks' time? Dr. Victoria asked with a worried expression on her face. If 2 weeks' time is not enough to familiarize oneself with his magic, I will see him and there is no need to attend the interview. Principal Usi, with a stern face, said solemnly. Mr. Liu, taking the risk of Principal Usi's cold face, said. Principal Luz, Dr. Victoria doesn't mean that. We just came over from the training room and learned that a classmate can train for an hour in a day. Principal Luz, the training room is not enough. And Principal Luz, there are still some students who haven't come to train today. Your interview news hasn't been announced yet, so once it's announced, the single person's daily practice time will definitely be shortened. Upon hearing this, Principal Usi asked Director Pa, is there a classroom on campus that can serve as a training room? Director Pa pondered for a moment and shook his head. Principal Luz, can we attract traffic? After all, some students are not very aggressive. We can set up a magic training room in the yard. As long as we plan it well and notify the students in advance, I think there should be no problem. Dr. Victoria proposed. Principal Usi pondered for a moment and nodded. Does anyone want to make a statement? After a while, no one raised any objections, and Principal Luz thought they agreed unanimously. So, for the division of the magic training room, could you please take the Minova messenger with you, Teacher Tian? Okay, Principal Luz, today Wednesday, just this Friday, we will start registering and the deadline is until noon on Saturday. Principal Luz, cast magic, a magic notice forms, could you please post this notice on the bulletin board, Director Pa? Director Pa will take over the notice. Let's break up the meeting. Dormitory building. Xiao, who had just returned to the dormitory building, was lying in bed. Lailai, are you there? I'm here, Yao, what should I do? The interview was arranged a few weeks later, and I just started learning magic. Yao, have you decided to join this team? I don't know, Yao, please think carefully for yourself. Good. After speaking, Lailai fell into a deep sleep. Xiao lay in bed, carefully recalling her past. As an ordinary girl, her greatest pleasure was reading novels. The most adventurous thing she had ever done was to skip class. When I came into this world, didn't I always look forward to taking risks and wanting to make changes? Is Mengxueyuan already satisfying for you? You're about to stop moving forward and be willing. It's not easy to come into contact with this magical world, is that all? Xiao, isn't it just that I'm afraid my magical abilities won't work out in a few weeks, leading to being brushed? You haven't tried before. How do you know you can't do it? Give it a try, you can't lose anything. If you don't even have the courage to try, then why do you need to stay in Mo Academy? It's also great to return to Earth, isn't it? Xiao, give it a try. Thinking of this, Xiao lifted the blanket and prepared to charge towards the training room. However, her legs softened and she fell to the ground. Xiao, you can't use magic anymore today. Thinking of the advice given by Teacher Tian, Xiao decided to follow the doctor's advice. So, let's take a look at the book. Xiao struggled to climb onto the bed, picked up the book placed under her pillow, and continued reading. Chapter 10. Training Room Storm. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Training Room. After Xiao left, Tong En and Si Ruobing kept an eye on the situation there. They looked like a fight was about to break out, so they tried their best to stop it. In the end, there's really no other way out. Si Ruobing seems to have thought of something, said in Tong En's ear. Have you forgotten what Principal Usi said today? Cancel the registration qualification. Tong En shouted to everyone. Upon hearing these words, the tense atmosphere between the two sides dissipated instantly, and even at the beginning, those two people were hooked up, one brother at a time. As soon as Tong En and Si Ruobing breathed a sigh of relief, they saw a rainbow appearing in the distance, not just one. The closer they got, the more they would notice at least 10 rainbows. Upon closer inspection, it was a peacock. No, it was Teacher Lu. They looked at each other and knew that it was the rescue soldiers brought by Xiao who had arrived. Teacher Lu walked up to the two of them. Teacher Lu, the situation here is like this. Before I could finish speaking, I was interrupted by a burst of coughing. Cough, cough, cough. Who? The two of them looked at the source of the sound, Dr. Victoria. They didn't even notice her just now. From a certain perspective, Teacher Lu's charm is quite impressive. Sorry, Dr. Victoria, we didn't notice you earlier. She waved her hand, indicating that it was okay, and then spoke up. What is the current situation? Si Ruobing showed Dr. Victoria what she had written to her teacher. Take a look. There are 2 training rooms in total, and each room can only accommodate 5 people at a time, half an hour at a time. However, each training room has at least 100 people. Perhaps just one person can train for 1 hour a day. Tong En also added, and, teacher, sometimes it takes half an hour to arrive, which happens to be at the critical stage of training. Upon hearing this, the 2 of them realized that the training room was indeed limited, and the students were also very enthusiastic about practicing magic. Okay, we got it. Let's go back and report to the principal. At present, the most important thing is to solve the current situation. After Teacher Lu finished speaking, he turned to ask Si Ruobing about it. Do you have a solution to the problem? Si Ruobing flipped over the paper in her hand and thought for a moment, wanting to say, they can be arranged to form groups of 5 people in front and behind, and then arranged on a group-by-group basis. Those 2 teachers only need to manage a dozen or so people well. After speaking, the 2 teachers thought for a moment and agreed. Dr. Victoria stood at the door, holding a large horn that had evolved at some point, shouting, "Ladies and gentlemen, please start with the first student and form groups of 5. Each group will change every 10 minutes. Whoever ranks first will have their own order within the group." "Teacher, can we jump and team up? I don't want to team up with this annoying person in front of me." "Teacher, I don't want to team up with him either. These are the 2 brothers who have been fighting since the morning until now. They are actually lined up together and have a play to watch." "No," Dr. Victoria sternly refused. "If you don't agree, don't queue up." As soon as everyone saw that they couldn't discuss, they consciously grouped and quickly decided on the order. When they reached the first spot, they calmly queued up, and the rest began to leave, preparing to come back later. Upon seeing this, Dr. Victoria also walked out. "This method is very good, thank you very much, Si Ruobing. It's okay, by the way, can you give us those papers first?" Teacher Lu raised the paper in his hand. "Here with me, teacher, I saw you were busy just now, so I'm sorry to ask. I want to ask where Xiao went." Tong En inquired and asked, "Oh Xiao, she's been captivated by me and now she's lying in the health room." Tong En widened his eyes and said, "Really? Si Ruobing, let's go to the health room quickly. Pull up Sirubing and prepare to run to the health room, ha ha ha." Dr. Victoria glanced at Teacher Lu and said, "Teacher Lu, don't tease Tong En. Director Pa asked for help from Xiao when he needed something, so he took the person away." Tong En pulled Si Ruobing back and asked Dr. Victoria, "Really?" She nodded and said, "Really?" Tong En breathed a sigh of relief. "Are you 2 still standing here? Don't you go for training? If you don't go, you'll end up last." Upon hearing these words, Tong En quickly lined up at the back of the queue, ready to form a team together. When someone arrived after waiting for less than 5 minutes, he saw Mulan Huahua and Juliet, and Tong En warmly greeted them both. "Hello everyone." Tong En's senior sister, Mulan Huahua, greeted Tong En with a fist, and Tong En also bowed back with a fist. "Hello, Mulan Flower." Juliet kicked the handkerchief in her hand and coquettishly said, "Tong En, hello." "Juliet, hello. You 2 came just in time, we can form a group now." The 2 looked at Tong En in confusion, and Tong En recounted the previous scene in its original form. Juliet looked at Tong En in confusion. "We only have 3 people. "Yeah, it's just 4 people. We're still short of Xiao, so we have 5 people." "No, Miss Tong En, Juliet was talking about 3 people, and that's right." Tong En counted the number of people. "Where is Si Ruobing?" Tong En looked around and finally found her in a sparsely populated area. "Si Ruobing, come here and queue up." Upon hearing Tong En call her, Si Ruobing also put away the book and came to Tong En's body. "Tong En, have you forgotten that my magic is not aggressive? This training room is useless to me." "Yeah, what about people like you, teacher? Let's ask the teacher." They were just called away by the principal, saying they were going to have a meeting. "What should I do with Hua Hua? Our magic is not combat-oriented." Juliet asked anxiously. Tong En said generously, why don't you go into the training room and experience it? Anyway, I have to queue up. Mulan Huahua said justly, that's not possible. We can't just leave Sister Tong'an alone. I'll also queue up here. Then I'll also help queue up. Si Ruobing also spoke up and said, it's okay. The four of us can change positions and queue up. Let's first let Tong'an queue up and switch to me. The third one is Mulan Huahua, and finally Juliet. Is that okay? And there are 8 groups ahead, changing positions in half an hour. How about that? The other 3 nodded in agreement. Upon hearing the words finally, they followed Si Ruobing to her original place, but Mulan Huahua saw that there was plenty of time, so she prepared to go out and take a stroll. Sister Ruobing, I'll take a stroll around and come back later. Juliet, do you want to come with me? Juliet nodded. The 2 of them ran to Tong'an's side again and greeted her before leaving. Huahua, where are we going? Mulan Huahua thought for a moment and said, let's go to the Academic Affairs office. Huahua, you're going to eavesdrop. No, this is absolutely not allowed. No, Juliet, listen to me. Just now, didn't Ruobing say that the teacher went to a meeting? Let's go over and see if the meeting is over. If it's over, we can ask the teacher for information. If not, we'll go back and queue up. Juliet breathed a sigh of relief when she heard that she wasn't eavesdropping. Just don't eavesdrop, let's go, Huahua. The 2 of them arrived at the Academic Affairs office and found Director Pa holding a notice. Just walking outside, turns out they happened to bump into the end of the meeting. Mulan Huahua saw Director Pa and pulled Juliet, who was hesitating and hesitant to go up, and walked to his side. Director Pa, is that meeting over? Is there any news about the competition? As soon as Juliet heard this, she grabbed Mulan Flower and prevented her from continuing to ask. Some competition news, now I'm preparing to post a notice. Director Pa waved the magic notice in his hand towards Mulan Huahua and her 2. Looking at the notice with competition news, Mulan Huahua really wanted to take a look in advance, but Director Pa protected her. Want to see it? Come with me and put up the notice, so you can be the first to see it. They both nodded together and followed Director Pa to the bulletin board.